going on, guys? Necromancer New. We got some spicy, juicy drama from Marvel Rivals. I wanted to make a video about this. I already saw a bunch of other creators talk about this, and I want to give my 2 cents about the whole situation going on. So it seems like anytime I hop on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram now, anything Marvel Rivals related is about support strikes, Necros is wrong, this and that. It's a big old mess right now. Now, is this all Necros' fault? Are strategists really going on strike? Strategist really the easiest role to play? I'm gonna just throw it out right away. It's never that simple. It's never just black and white. I'm gonna go deep dive into it. We're gonna talk about everything. Let me know what you think down below. Make sure to comment, subscribe, like the video. It all helps out. But aside from that, let's get right into the video. So this mainly started with Necros, a pretty popular creator, streamer of Marvel Rivals, who dropped a pretty hard hot take, depending on how you look at it, basically just claiming that support's the easiest role, supports are usually boosted, they suck, they're stupid, they don't know what they're doing, and it upset a lot of people. Now, another thing that people are really upset about that I think a lot of people aren't really bringing up, but the fact that they are upset about it, is the ranked overall. Ranked is a little rough around the edges. It has been since launch. There is more of a focus on individual performance, so I feel like people have a lot more eyeballs on who performed and who didn't, this and that, and it's leading to a lot of pointing fingers on who's right, who's wrong, who didn't perform, who did perform. And when it comes to a game like this, a game like Overwatch, any team-based game, all in all, it's never that simple. It's always much deeper than any of us can really think it is. Now, by any means, I'm not going to defend Necros. I do think that was a pretty bad take, all in all. I do think maybe, possibly, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I think he was trying to word it differently, or maybe he could have worded it differently. Now, I will say right here and right now that all roles are pivotal, all roles are important. Think of this team as like a giant pillar, multiple pillars that hold up a structure together, which is your team. And if one falls apart, you really can't perform in any other aspect, It could be argued that strategist is the easier role to play, or at least calmer, until they get dove on. Then next thing you know, you got like 5 different dives on one team, diving on all your back line, and your front line's not doing anything. That can get stressful. That's definitely not an easy situation to deal with. But at the same time, it also goes for other ends. As a Vanguard main myself, like I said, it is very hard sometimes where you can't push up as much as you'd want if maybe the heals aren't exactly going where you want them to be, if you're not getting the full support that you feel like you should be getting. And that also goes for DPS. If they're not getting the picks that you want, if they're not really capitalizing on the damage that you're dishing out as a Vanguard, and you're not able to push up like you should, it really just goes around in a full circle. Like, you can't do one without the other. Now, let me just say, Necros, stupid take, but honestly, a lot of creators in this game, a lot of the player base is incredibly stupid, and I'll be honest. It is a reoccurring joke for me and my friends where we kind of sit there and just say, we love Marvel Rivals, right? We love the game itself, we love the concept, we love the characters, like, we love Marvel all in all. But the thing that really just makes us upset more times than none is the community, the player base, the toxicity, these people that are just incredibly shameless, all in all, right? And that goes with or without streamers, like, you name it. Now, yes, no one loves insta-lock DPS. No one loves that last person to pick on the team that picks the 4th DPS or the 3rd, or just doesn't want to switch even though they probably should. No one likes that, right? Let's get that out of the picture. But if you are someone who is genuinely getting on this game and doing a strike, you are incredibly cringe. You need to get out and touch some grass. It is not that serious. I promise you, it is not that serious. Like, how are you going to let something that a random streamer you've probably never played a game in with, you're going to let it affect you that much to where you're really trying to make a point to other people who probably don't even know what's going on, right? When I first heard this, I thought this was a joke. Like, support's going on strike in a video game. It's such a silly situation, all in all. And like I said, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I don't know how many times in a situation, in a ranked match, or just quick play in general too, a lot of the times, a lot of these trash talkers are usually strategists. And I don't know if it is because they got a bone to pick someone, but if you're really just picking fights with something, I think you just need to take a break from the game, right? It is not that serious. I promise someone else will pick up strategists and play the role. If not, then, they're screwed, and that's their own DPS or Vanguard fault that don't want to switch. Like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is a game. It is not that serious. A lot of us are not playing competitive. A lot of us are not making money in this, right? So, like, what is the issue here? I think at the end of the day, the main issue is the ranked is pretty gypped right now, right? Like, it's not a good spot. Like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of rough around the edges. It is focused a lot on individual performance, and it doesn't take a lot of things into consideration, which leads to a lot of pointing fingers. And I think a lot of people just really want to find something to be upset about, whether you're a strategist getting upset the DPS saying they're not doing enough, or the Vanguard saying they're not doing enough, and vice versa. It can go other ways. Vanguard could say maybe the healers aren't doing enough, their DPS aren't doing enough. Duelists can say that the Vanguards aren't doing enough and the healers aren't doing enough. Like, it goes all ways. I've seen the worst of all sides, okay? No one is perfect in this situation. But at this point, I really just think it is salty people who are looking for something to be upset about and looking at something to be mad about. Like I said, if you're really on strike in a video game right now, you are incredibly cringe. You are doing something that is so stupid, so dumb. No one really cares at the end of the day. Touch grass, move on, and... Like I said, I've seen a lot of duelists that talk a lot of trash. I've seen a lot of people that immediately point at me, the Vanguard, for not getting enough kills in the team, even though I probably have double their damage. They're just not capitalizing on it. Like, there are so many stupid people in this in the community. I mean, like I said, strategists aren't perfect either. Yes, sometimes they can make stupid plays and stupid ults, but any other class can do the same thing. A lot of people make stupid ults and stupid plays. Now, I do agree when it comes to something like Necros, and a lot of people I saw in the comments or just in videos saying, hey, I want to see you play a whole season's worth of strategists and see how you do, see how you perform, see if you can get up the ranks like you do with DPS and duelist. And I agree with that to an extent. Yes, everyone should be a flex player. Yes, everyone should play all of the roles and get a good idea of how a whole team works, right? But to sit down and say someone needs to play a whole season's worth of a character or a specific role, it's a little silly in my opinion. Now, of course, like I said, everyone should be good with a few characters of each role. That is the best way you can learn, and the best way we don't have the situation that we're talking about right now. But even then, yes, I know how to play a few duelists. Yes, I know how to play a few strategists, but my bread and butter is always going to be Vanguard. Like, I have no doubt I could pop off and do pretty well with strategists and duelists, but catch me with the Vanguard, like the Thing, Thor, Venom, you name one of those characters, like, I will put in actual work and I will do very well. Everyone has their specific play style, and that goes for a lot of these insta-lock DPS. Yeah, a lot of them probably played Call of Duty and all this. They're very prone. They have usually solid aim, at least I hope. When it comes to strategists, a lot of people who main strategists, maybe they're a little more into like MMOs or RPGs. They're a little more into support, stuff like that. And of course, they got their own play style, so they want to go and gravitate towards that role. As a Vanguard player, I like being on the front lines, dishing out damage, being that wall on the team that really can't be taken down, being that like anchor, however you want to name it. But at the end of the day, I think this whole situation has gone way out of hand. It is really stupid and silly. And no matter how you want to look at it, whatever you want to say, I promise you any role is not that easy. Like, if you start getting dove on, yes, it is not that easy as a strategist. I promise it's not that easy as a Vanguard holding the front lines and trying to help your support when they get pushed on, trying to figure out the fine line between where you should hold the front and when you should help in the back. And when it comes to DPS too, I promise it's not that easy to go 40-1 like a lot of people think they will. This may have been just one giant rant and me just yapping over and over, but at the end of the day, I think this is really just a big nothing burger, and I think it's really silly at the end of the day. Yes, Necros said something pretty stupid, but I'll be honest, there is a lot of other creators and streamers who probably said the same thing or even worse. Do I think strategists are undermined and underutilized sometimes and underappreciated? Yes, but I also think sometimes Vanguards are underappreciated and kind of forgotten about. And do I hate a insta-lock DPS? But at the end of the day, do I love a DPS who knows how to pop off and actually put in work? Yes, absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this situation could be resolved pretty easily if a lot of these insta-lock DPS just started maining a few solid Vanguards. I really just think teams could go a lot better and a lot smoother if there's maybe 1 DPS, 3 tanks, 2 support, something along those lines, 3 tank, 3 support. I think those could go nutty, and I think a lot of people are just sitting on that and not realizing how crazy that could go. But I digress. I was just bringing it up real fast that I just think matches could go a lot easier and a lot better if a lot of these insta-lock DPS learned how to play some tanks. I also just find it really funny in a lot of these situations where I feel like a lot of people think they're deserving a lot more than what they should, right? I think a lot of people think they are heaven sent. If I looked at all the comments and looked at what everyone was saying in the community, I would think everyone's celestial and above, but that is not the case, I promise you. I love me a good strategist, I love me a good duelist, I love me a good vanguard, but yes, there are also bad apples in every single group of those roles. Like I said, a lot of the times, I'm not saying every time, but a lot of the times people start talking trash on my team before anything even amounts to an actual problem or something. It's usually a strategist who wants to open their mouth and say something that's just really silly. And don't get me wrong, of course, there's still a lot of arrogant DPS who want to blame the healers for them not getting enough kills or something like that. Just something really ridiculous. There's also a lot of vanguards that want to blame the role on someone else and point fingers. Like, there are bad apples in a lot of the groups, okay? I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating the same things over and over. There's probably a few things I forgot in this big yap session, but all in all, what Necros said was pretty stupid. Everyone has a pivotal role in the group for a team-based game, but if you're really getting this upset about it and doing this whole strike thing, it's just really silly. I think it's really stupid at the end of the day. I promise it's not that easy to hold the line as a tank. I promise it's not that easy to figure out when you should peel and when you should push forward as a tank. I promise it's not that easy to pop off like you think you will with a DPS or duelist. At the end of the day, like I said, it's never that black and white. There's always a bigger picture to it that a lot of people don't really pay attention and look at. But all in all, I want to hear from you guys. Make sure to comment down below about this whole situation. What do you think about this? Make sure to like the video, subscribe. It all helps out. We're trying to hit 900, hopefully 1,000 by the end of the year. It's been so long I've been making videos. But anyways, hope you guys appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in more videos. Bye-bye.